Tune in to Acnn TV via any free-to-air decoder with the following installation parameters: Intelsat 20 satellite with tuning frequency 12562 MHz, symbol rate 30 Mbps, orbital position 68.5 degree east, and horizontal polarization. You can also keep in touch with episodes of our programs via these social media platforms. For inquiries, please call 070-3265-6544 or mail us via enquiries@acnntv.com. ACNN, reaching the world with the undiluted Word of God.
Pro-Chancellor of Paul University, Awka, reveals challenges in the institution, gives hope of good fortune. Plus, President Buhari's government agrees to release 30 billion naira to lecturers after meeting with members of ASU. And now the news in details. We begin in Abuja, where the primate of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion and Bishop of Abuja Diocese, His Grace, the Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba, has admonished Christians not to be afraid, but have faith in God. He made this note while speaking during the sermon segment of the Holy Communion service to mark the opening service of the ongoing 21st Women's Conference of the Diocese of Abuja, with the theme, Fear Not, Move On. The primate said the theme is apt, especially now that there is a pandemic ravaging the whole world, and also making reference to the state of the nation as regarding the NSAS protest. The primate said there are enough reasons to be afraid, but Christians should not be. Rather, they should have faith in God.
The theme for this conference, Fear Not, Move Forward, is so apt. It is fitting for our time. Why? Up till now, we are still battling with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many are unemployed. Look at the demonstration that is happening. When our sons and daughters are at home, and many youth are unemployed, why wouldn't they take over baggage roundabout? Why wouldn't they stop people along the airport road? Why wouldn't Lagos be shut down? Brethren, it is only the hand of the Lord that is keeping this nation. It is by God's mercy that we are alive. When you talk of fear, there is reason to fear. But know that fear is a weapon of the enemy in order to keep you down. And let me tell you, where there is fear, faith cannot operate. I am believing God that as we meet together, iron shall sharpen iron. There will be a fear in our hearts that even though we live in a situation and circumstance where fear abounds, know that the scripture has more than 365. Fear not. So every day you wake up, I want you to know this. We have in the Bible more than 365. Do not be afraid. Fear not. And so when you wake up and your mind is telling you that something awful is going to happen, tell that voice to shut up.
Speaking after the service, the wife of the primate, Mrs. Angela Ndukuba, shared with the news crew what to expect from such conference, especially as regarding the theme of the meeting.
In this conference, the Lord is telling us to put aside or cast on Him all our challenges, all our fears, all what that puts us down, that thing that keeps you awake at night. God is telling us in this conference not to fear. We should move forward in faith. Faith and fear cannot work together. So when we have faith in God, we shall not fear. So God is going to encourage us to be more dependent on Him and not on ourselves.
The Pro-Chancellor of Paul University, Awka, Engineer Chris Okoye, has listed the challenges currently hindering the progress of the higher institution and based the hindrances on foundational problems. Engineer Okoye revealed these to SNN crew when he visited the primate of all Nigeria at St. Matthias House in Gudu, where he said that originators of the school didn't put in place the right kind of courses to attract students and also failed to provide seed funding for infrastructural development.
What has happened actually in Paul University is that the original foundation that should have given rise to a sustainable growth and development probably was mishandled. There are two important components that would have obviously created that enabling environment to be able to grow the university on a defined trajectory. One was, of course, the issue of putting in place the right courses. It would appear to me that the originators of the university did not follow up with putting in place the right opportunity for the university to attract as many students as possible. The second aspect, of course, was that when the owners of the university started, they failed to provide what I might call some seed funding that would have enabled the university to be able to do a number of infrastructural projects so as to be able to enhance the capacity to do those kinds of courses. So these were some of the fundamental foundational enablers that made it difficult, for the university to proceed on a path that is properly defined. Of course, there was also the ownership problem. That ownership problem had also created some doubt in the minds of a lot of people.
Engineer Chris Okoye, however, expressed optimism that his meeting with the primate, coupled with the partnership of the church, will yield the right results and bring good fortune to Paul University, Awka.
I'm pretty sure that with some of the decisions that we have taken today, we're likely to begin to see a new, hopefully, sense of momentum being put into that restructuring effort that we had started. The 5 ecclesiastical provinces, much more in tune with what needs to be done in Paul University, is also being put in place. We had primate, of course, today, who now seems to be quite conscious of the need to go back to that historical development that gave CMS its strength of character. And I hope that with that at the back of his mind, it would appear to us that Paul University has a partner now in the new president of the Church of Nigeria.
On national news, the federal government has agreed to release 30 billion naira in academic allowance to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. The government will pay the money in tranches between May 2021 and January 2022. As part of the concession to end the 7-month strike, the government also pledged to spend 20 billion naira on the revitalization of the education sector. These agreements were reached during the meeting between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union leadership. At the meeting, the body of lecturers insisted that the government should pay their outstanding salaries through Government Integrated Financial and Management Information System before full implementation of University Transparency and Accountability Solution UTAs. But the government insisted on the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System IPPIS. ASU also directed all its members across universities in Nigeria to reject IPPIS officials coming to various campuses on Monday for biometric data capturing of its members. This was contained in an official letter signed by Professor Biodun Oguyemi, president of ASU, and sent to all zonal coordinators and all its members. The union vowed not to jeopardize the ongoing critical engagement with federal government. In the letter, ASU said it has been informed that IPPIS officials from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, AGF, will be going around university campuses from Monday 19th October 2020. It further described the enrolled number as inconsequential. Nigerians have been barred from taking part in the United States visa lottery in 2022. This was contained in a 19-page document published on the U.S. website. The document is titled Instructions for the 2022 Diversity Immigrant Visa Program, DV 2022. In Africa, natives of Nigeria are not eligible for this year's Diversity Visa Program. However, citizens of other African countries are eligible to apply. The document explained that Nigeria was barred because more than 50,000 of its citizens immigrated to America in the previous 5 years. Other countries that are barred include El Salvador, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, India, Jamaica, Mexico, Pakistan, Philippines, Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, China, including Hong Kong, SAR, Colombia, Dominican Republic, South Korea, United Kingdom, except Northern Ireland and its dependent territories, and Vietnam. And coming up on Acnn News, Japan's new Prime Minister Suga says he's ready and determined to host Tokyo Olympics. Stay with us for details and even more after this break.
Worthy by design. On this show, we focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between. Worthy by design.
If you are just joining us, you're watching the news on Acnn. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or youtube.com/ACNNTV. To be up to date with our news and other programs, download the VM Africa app on Acnn app for Android from Google Play Store, and you can also advertise your goods and services on Acnn TV. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Lagos State met with various leaders of political parties, candidates and other stakeholders to ensure successful Lagos East Senatorial and Koshefri Constituency 2 by-elections on October 31. The event, which was an expanded stakeholders meeting for both elections, witnessed the signing of peace accord by candidates. INEC resident Electoral Commissioner Mr. Sam Olumekun said that the commission was ready to conduct free, fair and credible elections without compromising standards. Olumekun commended stakeholders and media's contributions to the success of the 2019 general elections, saying without their support, the success of the elections would not have been possible. He said that the by-election became necessary as a result of the demise of the senator representing Lagos East District, and a member representing Koshefi State Constituency 2, Lagos State House of Assembly. Lumeko said that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and the Electoral Act provided the process of election for the circumstance of a general election and when vacancies occur into elective positions. A public commentator, Shehu Sani, has criticized northern governors over their support for SARS. The former senator condemned their declaration of support for the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. The government critic reacted through his official Twitter handle. Governors from the northern part of the country rejected disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. According to them, the police unit has been useful in the fight against insecurity in the region. The chairman, Northern Governors Forum, Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong, said this after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. He said that though the government has approved the scrapping of the unit, the decision should be reconsidered. The governor said states in the north are of the opinion that the baby should not be thrown away with the bath water. Lalong said he went to see the president to commend him for approving community policing, adding that training had commenced in the various zones of the country. Away from Nigeria now, the remains of a Ghanaian Christian beheaded by the Islamic State terrorist group on a Libyan beach in an execution video in 2015 has finally been laid to rest in Egypt. Cairo-based journalist Farid Y. Farid reported on September 29 that the body of Matthew Ayariga was finally laid to rest alongside the 20 Coptic Christians who were beheaded beside him on a beach in Libya, in a video released by the Jihadi Death Court in February 2015. Farid provided a link to an article by Watani newspaper, an Egyptian weekly newspaper widely read by Coptic Christians. The article reports that the families of the Coptic Christians celebrated the remains of the martyr. The 21 men were abducted while they were living in Libya as migrants, working there to support their families back home. The 21 martyrs have been canonized as martyr saints by the Coptic Church, and their deaths have not been forgotten by the Church faithful. U.S. President Donald Trump and his Democratic challenger Joe Biden have battered away key questions during separate Meet the Voter TV events. Mr. Trump, a Republican, declined to renounce a bizarre online conspiracy, while Mr. Biden, a Democrat, would not divulge plans for the Supreme Court, as both candidates were on the defensive of their records. President Trump for a range of issues and Mr. Biden on race. However, opinion polls indicate that Mr. Biden has a solid lead over Mr. Trump, but the polling is still very close in several key states which could decide the election. Meanwhile, more than 18 million people have already voted in person or by post for the 3rd November vote, as TV voter question and answer events are known in the U.S. to replace a cancelled second presidential debate. But Mr. Trump had refused to join that showdown virtually, following the recent COVID-19 diagnosis, from which he now appears fully recovered. And moving on to sport, the Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga has said that he is determined to host the Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo by all means. Yoshihide Suga assumed office on 16 September 2020 and has repeatedly stated that he wanted to hold the Olympic Games amid the COVID-19 pandemic with all precautionary measures taken. The Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 was scheduled to be held this summer, but the COVID-19 pandemic forced the International Olympic Committee to postpone it for a year. A new date for the start of the Tokyo Olympics has been set for 23 July 2021. The Olympics is expected to be one of the largest, as it will host 10,000 athletes in a packed program that includes 33 sports, 50 disciplines, and 339 events. You're still watching the news on the hour. A reminder of our major stories. The primate and his wife speak as Abuja Diocesan Women's Conference holds with theme, Fear Not, Move On. Pro-Chancellor Paul University Awka reveals challenges in the institution, gives hope of good fortune. Plus, President Buhari's government agrees to release 30 billion naira to lecturers after meeting with members of ASU. And so that's it on the news. I want to thank you so much for watching. I am Phoebe Agimenyu. Have a blessed weekend, you all. God bless.